Hello, everyone, and welcome to this new episode of Redesign Your Life Today. I'm Daniel Kobryner, your host. I'm a mental fitness coach, helping people to uncover what's holding them back from living the best life they can. It's all about transformation, and this is what this podcast is about. It's about for me to invite guests who have had big transformations in their lives and things which a lot of people would think it's not possible, but yes, it is. And the idea is to share that at every moment of life, we can have changes and we can really live big transformations. And I'm very happy to have welcome our very special guest today. It's Aaron Christy. And Aaron has a fascinating story. Aro is he is the founder and CEO of Indie Roof and Restoration. It's one of Indiana's leading roofing and exterior restoration companies. In just 7 years, he has scaled the business with over 15 million annual revenue, which was built entirely on marketing, innovation, and relentless relation building and community trust. His entrepreneur journey didn't even stop there because he's seeing the need for more insurance. He built another business called Ben Franklin Insurance and Investments to better serve homeowners frustrated with their coverage, for instance, after storm damage. He even invested as well in commercial and residential estates. So a lot of things, and what I do is I leave the floor over to you. First of all, welcome again, Aaron. It was a pleasure to have you on this journey, and just go a little more about your story, if you may.
Awesome. Thank you, Daniel. I appreciate it. Yeah, man, it has been a journey. You're right about that. And what was fascinating about this podcast was that the transformation aspect of things, right? I worked for a family business before I ever started my own business. It was a publishing company, had nothing to do with construction or anything that I'm in right now. And it's funny, I did well there. I was in a sales and marketing role, and I did well. I made good money. It was a straight commission job, and so uh, I stuck it out, even though I wasn't very happy there. There's a lot of travel, home a week, gone a week, home a week, gone a week, and wasn't thrilled about the product, wasn't thrilled about the people that I worked with. But because I was making good money, I just kind of dealt with it. And then, you always hear that saying, find something that you love to do and you'll never work a day in your life, right?
Mhm.
And I always heard that and I was like, who likes their job? I was like, I didn't get it because that's where I had been since I graduated high school. I went right to work and I'd always been there. And I was like, movie stars, maybe. Like, I don't know who possibly could like their job besides like, somebody famous or whatnot. Um, and so it never really computed with me. And then I ended up getting married. I had three beautiful daughters. Um, And the thing is, traveling got a lot harder then, right? Home a week, gone a week, home a week, gone a week. And then finally one day, Marriott, which I used to stay at most of the time when I was traveling, updated how they do their system. And instead of yearly, they made it lifetime. And so they updated the app and it says how many lifetime days you've stayed in a Marriott. And mind you, I stayed in there most of the time, probably like 85% of the time, but it didn't always fit the company budget, et cetera, et cetera. And so when they updated this app, I looked at it and I counted the days. It was like 2000 something. And I looked and I was like, oh my gosh, I have spent over 6 years of my life in just Marriott properties alone.
Wow.
And I was like, man, I can't do this forever. And so I was like, I have to figure something else out. And so I'd been there for 16 years, I think, at that point. And it's the only main job I've ever really had besides things when I was younger. Um, I graduated high school. I did not go to college, so I didn't have a degree or anything to fall back on. I had built a good life through that company, and had a good income. So it's very scary to go, I am going to completely dismantle my entire life and change what I'm doing. That works well, but I'm not happy in other aspects of my life, right? But we made the decision, and I talked to my wife, and I was like, hey, as long as I can make enough money to maintain our current lifestyle, I just want to be happy, right? And so I looked into a few different things, and I actually initially had started I started a furniture store. I didn't have a ton of money. I cashed out my 401k, which gave me about $40,000. And I'd started a furniture store, and I was doing a build out. I got a good lease, which gave me an opt out in a year if things didn't work out. And while I was doing the build out on that, a friend of mine was like, hey, this guy just kind of randomly left me this roofing company and went out to Virginia. He's like, do you want to sell some roofs with me? It's like, okay, like I like selling stuff. I like people. Like, I got time in the evening after we do all of this stuff. Sure. So in 2000, this was 2017. So over the winter of 2017, me and him watched YouTube videos and went to trainings and a lot of different things to learn about the roofing industry. And there for about 2 or 3 months over winter. And then when it started getting warmer, close to spring, we started talking to realtors and setting up relationships and things like that. And then about that time, it was time to open the furniture store. So I did, and we got that going. It wasn't like taken off as quickly as we would have liked, but it was okay. It was working. But I found that going from a job where I was traveling around the country, talking to people all day, to sitting in an office selling discount mattresses was a big culture shock for me, and I did not love it. And then in the evenings, I'd been doing some roof sales. And I very quickly realized I like roof sales much more, but I had to focus on the business that I had invested into. And so I told my friend, like, hey, I'm not going to do this anymore right now. Focus on the furniture business. And so while I was doing that, I realized the power of relationships because I kept getting calls without anything on my behalf. I was done. I kept getting calls from realtors saying, hey, I have this roof I need you to do. Hey, I have this roof. And the first 2 or 3, I was like, no, I'm not doing that anymore. Furniture store, if you need anything over here, give me a call, et cetera, et cetera. Finally, about the third one, I was like, what am I doing? Like, this is business. I can make money from this. I can help people from this. It's not a full-time gig. I can do these things on the side. And so I started a roofing company, and I was just going to do it as a side gig. And so I did a couple roofs. Everything was good. A lot happier with the roof stuff on the side again. August 28th of 2018, we had a storm, and big hailstorm. And I said, well, we have a hailstorm. Let me see what we can do. So I did some guerrilla marketing and reached out to almost 2,000 realtors via text message, just saying, hey, this is who I am. This is how I can help you. This is how I can bring value to you. Here's my information if you need me. And I got really busy really quickly. And so busy that I decided, hey, I like this a lot more. I handed the furniture store off to somebody else, and I went in full bore on roofing. And very quickly, I got myself very busy. And it was weird because for about the first year, I just had to learn the ins and outs because this is a completely new industry to me. And so you got to make the mistakes and learn from them and get in the weird predicaments and figure out the ways out and just make sure you're doing everything right. But I very quickly learned that business is transferable for the most part, right? Like a lot of the marketing is transferable. Treating customers well in customer service is pretty transferable. And for my 16 years that I was in the other business, like it was just part of it. You called people back, you took calls when they called, you answered them, you tried to help them, you tried to have good customer service. And when I transferred over to roofing, I was talked to so many people that were like, "Oh, you're the fifth roofer I've called, and you're the only one that's called me back, or you're the only one that's answered." That's crazy, right? And so I uh, I became very successful very quickly because I just did what I said I was going to do, and I followed through, and I answered people's questions, and the very what you think are basic things, to some people they are. And somebody asked me about a year and a half in, I started getting pretty well known around my area, and they're like, "How'd you become so successful so quickly?" Just call people back and do what I say I'm going to do. Like I felt like it was pretty basic stuff, but we did that, and I did that for a couple of years. I brought on a couple part-time guys to do sales, and then in 2020, COVID hit, and I was a marketer by heart, and I was not like a door knocker. And a lot of roofing companies in Indiana were door knockers, and so when COVID hit, we had actually a storm at the same time, and we were essential, so we could go out and work, but you weren't allowed to knock doors or interact with people like up close. And so my marketing worked out fine because I was marketing on social media. I had a lot of realtors and insurance agents and things I dealt with. And then the people couldn't knock their doors. So when the storm happened, everybody's coming to the ways that they see. And the people that were door knockers had no idea how to get in front of people. And so we ended up almost tripling in size. No, over tripling in size that year. I went from 3 million in 2019, my second year in revenue, to 9.8 million our fourth year in 2020. And so we decided it was time to start growing. In that 2020, I did bring on more people, so it wasn't just us. I showed them the way that I marketed with realtors, relationships, etc. And then we've just been kind of building and growing since then. So it's pretty interesting. I was never in the roofing or construction space. It's always been sales and marketing. I like to say that we're a sales and marketing company whose product is roofing and relationships, and that's done very well for us.
Well, thank you for sharing. This is fascinating. And what comes to mind is mentioned just before the interview that, I'd been in international sales and management for, I think, 35 years. And, you said that you just did what is you considered as normal. Just call people back, follow up.
Yeah.
And I have to say I'm on the same path. It's just like, treat people correctly, the way you'd like to be treated. And what I found amazing, and this I can tell you, I'm in Europe, it is the same, that you would think it should be the norm, but very few people are doing that. So when you just do things, when you're just impeccable with your word, as you said, this is where things work. So I mean, already this, and you say it with a lot of humility, when it's so interesting. That you said like people were calling roofing companies, you were the only one to reply. I mean, so and when you talk about this, obviously, and you said transferable skills, yes, and what's for you the most important? Which kind of skills we need to have to grow a business on a sustainable basis?
Well, one, um, and this goes along with kind of what you were saying, but following through on the things that you say that you're going to do is the easiest way to get referrals. People remember how you make them feel, not necessarily the interaction per se. I work with some people that maybe kind of do so-and-so stuff for me. Like I have a plumber guy that's I'm actually dealing with right now. Um, there's a little bit to be desired on some of his things, but the guy is insanely nice, and he's always willing to go, above and beyond if needed. And so it's like things like that. Like, okay, you can look past other things if you like the people, and then they always try to do things to make your life easier and your life better. It's very easy to send those people. Like people selfishly, by the way, people selfishly love to refer people because they get a good feeling like, hey, how'd so and so do for you? And the person's like, oh, he was great. Then they feel good. And like it's a pat on their back that they sent you a good person, right? Like, so people want to refer you for themselves, not even for you, because they want to be the person that knows a guy, right? Like, how many times have you seen somebody post, like, I need somebody for this on social media? And just a bajillion people are like, my guy's this, my guy's awesome, my guy's like, they want you to pick their guy. So they're going to. On the other hand, though, if they refer somebody and the person comes back and is like, your guy sucks, he did this, like they feel like crap and they're embarrassed and they will never refer you again. So it's like it's a fine line with those things. So you just gotta, that's the one part uh of just building a business organically that you have to do. And then there are, in today's day and age, there are things that you have to do, I think, to get out to people outside of your network or outside of your people's networks, which are like just deal with your Google listing very well. You don't just create it and leave it alone. Like there are things that you do, like getting reviews, doing weekly updates, adding photos. You have to treat these things very well so that Google knows that you are a trending business, and then Google recommends you, which is the biggest feather in your cap. Depending on the vertical, relationships have been huge for us. And I think with a lot of people, they probably have relationships that they can build and work with people. So I would say those three things that's how I started my business. And if I, needed to do it all over again, I wouldn't change a thing about that particular aspect of it. I would lean into those three things immediately. And the cool thing about all of those things are they're free. Doesn't cost anything.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. No, this is fascinating, and it's doing the right things. Of course, visibility is very important, because obviously if people don't know what you do, and if you just count on referrals, it's limited. So it's about just showing what you do, but really, I suppose, with complete authenticity.
Yes, correct. And that's the cool thing about this. And this is what resonated about the podcast is uh, since I found something that I enjoyed doing, me personally, even in my mind, I was like, I could make half as much money, still maintain my lifestyle and be happy. Finding something that I enjoy doing makes me do it that much better, which in turn made me more successful. I make more now than I did then, and I love my job. So back to my original statement of find something that you love doing, and you'll never work a day in your life. Not totally true. There's stressful days, but in this job, I'm probably 20% stressed and 80% happy. Whereas before I was 80% stressed and 20% happy, and that 20% was basically just my paycheck. But it did, I mean, it did make a shift. Like I had to rebuild from the ground up, and as I was doing so, I learned so much. and then you're able to transfer that into other things. And like you said, the Ben Franklin insurance and investments, like in the roofing industry, I now have 800 to 1,000 customers a year, half of them which are mad at their insurance. And so we install a new roof, they can get a new roof discount. And then I can say, well, if you hate your insurance, here we can give you a quote with a new roof discount, which is going to save you money. And then, you don't have to deal with that anymore. So it's all about kind of connecting the dots. I think leads are the hardest thing to get in a business, the most expensive thing to get in a business anyway. And if you have something in your life or your business where you have the access and availability to leads for some sort of vertical, use that, implement it, and use it to build something, and or partner with somebody that can in return help you and make those things work for you.
Yeah, absolutely. This is so powerful. And see, at the beginning of the conversation, you were saying that you had this other job, right? You had your paycheck, but did you like the people? Not necessarily. Did you like the products? Not necessarily. And you see, there is this belief we have, but which many people have, that, well, a job is a job, and yeah, I mean, we it's only a few rare people who love their jobs, but actually, and very often it comes from, education, it comes from as well beliefs we get as well from our parents and things like that. But we can realize that everything's possible in life. Again, if we don't like something and you did it because you said you spent this 2,000 days in a Marriott, like 6 years of your life, and you think, so then you have to take this decision, and and when you do it, of course, are there risks? Sure, but these fears, very often it's something which is instilled in us. I mean, if we are children, when we play, when we are 4 or 3, and when we learn to to run the bicycle, do we have fear? No, we just go. We fall, we cry, we go back. And very often these fears, they come from the education. Do this, don't do this, it's dangerous. And what's very interesting is that it's very often it's other people, and it starts with the parents. They're, sometimes they would want to protect us, not to do things. But these fears, they get as well from their parents. You see, I mean, when people say and do something to us, it's a reflection of who they are. It's nothing to do with us. So when we live our passions like you did, you said, okay, I'm going to do that. And you went, okay, furniture business. Okay, you tried this, roofing opportunities. But listening to you, Aaron, it's really, you find a passion. I don't know if it's for roofing, but it's for what you are doing. It's helping people, it's building a business, it's providing value. And this is when we have this passion, when we have this drive to do something. And of course, stress happens, you see, I mean, in every business, etc. But still, you are in control of your business.
Yeah, you made a really good point, because I always joke around. I was like, nobody loves roofing, right? Like, it's people that are at their the homeowners or business owners, commercial building owners, like nobody cares about their roof until it's like leaking, right? But it's a necessity. What what we love is the roofing's the catalyst.
Mhm.
This is what allows us to go out and meet with people and help people and fight for people and provide value to people. And so it's those things as a whole, whether that was in HVAC or some sort of trade vertical or anything like that. The actual product is the catalyst of the part that you're talking about, right? It's the helping people and the being there, and with roofing, it's almost like a chess match when it comes to the insurance game, because they're trying to deny it and you're trying to get it approved, and you're doing all these things, or somebody, it's not an insurance claim, and you're doing retail roofing work. And so it's not just like showing up, say, here's a roof quote. It's, hey, we have 3 different solutions. These are different options. And, it's finding the best thing for the homeowner. So all of that just falls into how we can provide the most value and in return get paid appropriately for it. But yeah, you're absolutely right on what it's the catalyst that is to the root of the issue, which is going around helping people doing something that makes you happy.
Absolutely. And you see, I just heard you saying words which so much resonate with me. You bring value. You are helping people. You see, I'm even fighting against insurance. Insurance people is terrible because they're always happy to get your money, but afterwards, when it's about delivering, there's
Yeah.
nobody there, you know? So,
Yeah.
and again, see, I think when you fight, it's about fairness as well. It's not it's like, okay, there's a contract there, just do your bit, you insure it. So this is damage, do that. And then I can see that I can feel you are adamant for your customers because really, when things are fair, am I correct in saying that you are not taking prisoners, Aaron?
Yeah, we try not to.
I hope you don't mind me saying, but it's really, I mean,
No.
I used to do this for my customers. Sometimes I used to even argue with the company I was working for because if I believe they were not treated fairly, this is not right.
Yeah, it's, man, I tell you, that's something that I think a lot of people need to learn. And I've evolved to get better at it since I've opened the company. But a lot of people in business go into a place and say, hey, give me, give me, give me, give me, give me. This is what I want from you. And if you find a way to truly provide value to somebody, you're going to get way more out of it, because what you got to remember is everybody's living in their own world. I live in my world. I'm the main character, but the person I'm talking to, they're the main character, right? So am I a person trying to get something out of them, or am I a person trying to help them? And in return, it'll help me. And so if you find an angle that you can truly, not perceived value, but true value that actually, like, as an example, realtors, they are salespeople that depend on closings to feed their families and provide a life, right? So instead of going to them and saying, hey, if you ever have a roof come up and you need me to do a roof, call me, here's some donuts. Like, that's not value. That's you asking for business from them. What we do is we go, hey, we know that the roof gets called out 40 to 50% of the time, and it jams up closings, it delays your commissions, causes problems. So if you're going to list a house, call me. I'll come out and inspect it completely for free. And if everything's in good shape, I'll give you a full report. So if they do tell you to check out the roof, it's already done. You have a full report you can hand off, and the closing doesn't get delayed at the slightest. In the chance it is damaged, we can go ahead and work on it, file a claim, do whatever we need to do. And then let's say there's an insurance claim, we get new roof, new siding, new gutters. Now, when you're listing it, you're going to increase the sales price by $30,000, which is going to make you more money. It's going to make your customer happier, and they're going to refer you to everybody because you made them 30 more grand. If you don't do that, you're getting hemmed up at closing, and now they're paying a deductible, and the buyer gets all the equity. So it's a huge value proposition that helps everybody, as opposed to just going, if you need a roof done, call me. Here's some donuts or some lunch. So it's about finding value, true value, not perceived value.
You see, again, this resonates so much, and this is in all areas. You see, okay, I'm in a very different business. I mean, it's coaching. I don't call it business in a way, but well, it's really
Yeah.
about providing value. It's about helping people transforming their lives and doing really what they want to do. It's not about money. I mean, money for me, it's energy. You see, I mean, we provide a lot of energy, and then money flows, it comes, but it's when you do things because you are convinced, that it's the right thing to do, when you how do you say, you get the extra mile.
Yeah.
You do it without expecting anything to start. You do it because it's the right thing. This is how naturally, you're building trust with people because they see you are genuine in your approach, and it's exactly the way what you are doing with your clients. Yeah, and when you are very natural and authentic, this is where, I mean, people, they don't, it's not about your products or about your goods. It's about, as you said before, how you make them feel.
Yep. No, absolutely. It's about how you make them feel and a percentage of result. And so, like I said, just do the best you can, treat everybody well, try to provide the best value you can possibly provide, and that's the baseline of any successful business.
I mean, yeah, absolutely. And Aaron, if you just can tell us a few words, because okay, you you build this very large business there, and then you went into other businesses. So one is about insurance, one I think you are in property as well.
Yeah, so I got into some property just honestly to offset taxes. So,
Okay.
uh, yeah, when you start buying properties, you can do cost segregation studies
Mhm,
on them and get advanced depreciation. So if you're going to owe $200,000 in taxes, you can invest in a property, spend that $200,000, and you probably get $100 to $150,000 off your tax bill. So I started investing in properties. Fortunately for me, I don't have to do a ton of research. What I did to break into that market is find investors that are very savvy and that know what they're doing. And I'm more of just a silent investor. So they're doing the work, they're finding the good deals. I'm uh, backed by other people with their own money in it that knows
mhm,
these things a lot more than I do. I would definitely suggest dipping your toes in the market that way, as opposed to just going out and buying a large commercial building with, maybe limited knowledge. But yeah, getting with somebody locally that is taking on investors is a good way to offset taxes and then get future that. So let's say I gave $200,000 towards this commercial property building.
mhm,
My tax bill, if my tax bill was going to be 200,000, now it's only 50,000. So I've got, 3/4 of that into an investment that's now making me quarterly dividends, and then we'll sell in 7 years and I'll make all that money back times maybe two.
mhm,
So it's either throw it away and burn it forever
mhm.
or invest it into something, offset your tax, and then double it later on after a while. So that's the hope anyway.
No, well, I mean, it's great. And what you said as well is that surround you with good people, with people who know at all
Yes.
levels. It's about, because you've got all kinds of people, but again, you will see some people who provide value. I mean, just to you, for instance, in terms of advice, with whom you think, yes, I can trust this person. This is really, yes, I'm in good hands.
Yeah, if you find the right people, you're going to make more money than you would do yourself, especially when you're in multiple things, right? Like I couldn't invest the time to, or I don't have the knowledge to go through some of these commercial deals like these guys do, talking about the cap rates and all of these different things and getting grants from the city and all these different things. And then they pretty much guarantee uh, you know, up to 15% IRR year over year by the time of sale.
Mhm.
And so if I was to do that on my own, I may or may not make that much money, but I guarantee I'd have a ton more headaches. And if I did mess up and not do something right, it'd cost me way more money down the road. So it's easier just to go, hey guys, what are you finding? Cool, here's some money. I'll take 10% or whatever it is.
Now, this is great. And I'll have a last question for you, Aaron. Let's go back 7 years, 2017, and you have this job and you think, oh, am I going to change or not? When you think backwards of where you were, first, could you envisage where you would be today? And second, for other people who would be in Aaron's situation 7 years ago, what would be 3 tips you would give them if they have these doubts?
One, no, absolutely not. I never thought that I would be in this situation now. My primary goal back then was to feed my family and take care of myself and be happy, right? Because no matter what, we all have one life on this planet, whether you're religious or not religious. On this planet, we got one life, right?
Absolutely, absolutely.
You do not want to spend that. The majority of your day is work. Like I was reading a post yesterday that it was a joke, but it was like a person making a funny face, and it was like when you realize you live at work and visit home, and it was like, oh yeah, but like you're busy with this stuff and around the people that you work with most of your time, um, and so it's not worth doing something that you're not happy with around people that you're not happy with. So,
Mhm.
it's I never envisioned I was going to be here. I did envision that I was going to do something and be happy in my life, regardless of what that was. I made that decision, right? Like I'm going to be happy. I'll figure out a way to maintain my lifestyle, take care of my family. But I did not have this giant grand plan to get here, right? And so what I did, and I think part of the reason attributed to me getting here is building a business where we hired based off of personality, and hired with people that we wanted to be around, people that were motivated and had the same goals, and wanted to enjoy their lives as well. And so that helped the business a lot, and I think it helped it grow. People were happy, which in turn, happy people do better at the business. Um, and and so I was going to say, if there's 3 things to share, I think they're very easy things, and uh, one, just like take care of your mind, like always continue to learn, right? Uh,
Mhm.
I am, uh, I love learning new things, and I'm like a habitual learner. Not all the time. I'm not like some crazy person about it, but like I try to read, I try to listen to podcasts, I try to pay attention to new things in business, new marketing things, new trainings, like different things. And I keep an open mind on things. Some things I'm like, that's horrible. I wouldn't want to do that. Some things I'm like, I'm not sure. Let me try it. And then whether it works or doesn't, I know. So I've moved past it. Then some things I'm like, oh, that's great. But if you don't continue to learn as fast as the world is evolving these days, too, with technology and everything else, uh, it's really easy to fall behind. Um, I would also say, along the same scope, you feel a lot better when you take care of your body. I do something called 75 hard every spring. Um, it is just like a test for you, where you work out for 75 days, 2 times a day. You eat
Mhm.
healthy, drink a gallon of water a day, no cheat meals, no alcohol, read a nonfiction book 10 minutes a day, and you do all these things for 75 days straight. And it really gives you a mind reset and clears you up, and then builds good habits for the rest of the year. And when you do that stuff, your body uh, and your mind feel a lot better, and you feel more accomplished. You feel better about where you are. Um, if you have kids, your kids see it, and they go, okay, wow, like these are things that my family's doing. And they actually joined me one year and they didn't do the whole thing, but they did, like, they ate healthy the whole time. They drank water the whole time. They'd go on workouts with me outside. And so instilling that in your children, um, you know, builds your legacy. And I don't mean by business, I mean your family legacy. So, um, and that would be the next thing. And it kind of falls into the other thing, is just don't work so much. And I understand at the beginning of a business, like I worked 16 hours a day for about a year because I had to do literally everything,
Mhm.
from payroll to marketing to the sales to all of it. But not forever, right? Like get to a point where you can take care of your family and financially, but emotionally as well. Uh, you always hear the saying that, somebody that's passing away never goes, I wish I worked more. I think that's true to an extent. They don't miss the action of working, but I think they may go, hey, I wish I would have put my family in a better situation. I would have, I wish I would have had the money to do these things for them. And that comes from working. But don't do it at the detriment of the relationships of your wife and your children and your family and friends too, people and relationships that matter. So those three things would be, what I focus on currently. And I think they're probably the most important things that we can do.
Thank you so much for sharing, because again, you see, this resonates so much with me. So it's not about me, but first, happiness comes from within. Doesn't, and this we have to be aware. Everybody who's listening here, it's not your next boyfriend or girlfriend or even job or circumstances or car which is going to make you happy. Yeah, it will be just for a moment, and afterwards, first we have to build this happiness within ourselves. And then when we are happy, this is actually when we can transfer on to others as
Yeah, for
well.
sure.
And you talk about growth and always learning. And yeah, I mean, it's so important. We are just whatever is good for us, but always, uh, yeah, always being interesting in what's going around and learning. This is so important. And the third point you mentioned was as well about health. I mean, and then it's physical health, it's mental health, it's spiritual health. When we take this kind of holistic approach, and obviously looking after our loved ones, remembering that work is good, but family, children, parents, friends, it's so important. And when we've got this balanced life, this is when really happiness is there.
Yeah,
So,
100%. And it's
so
the key, trying to find that balance all the time. It's never an easy answer, but I think
yeah,
if you're intentional, you're very intentional about the things that you do,
exactly.
that's what makes it easier.
Make it, and as well being intentional about the things you don't want to do. You see, and
Fair,
some things. And
very fair.
so, look, Aaron, thank you so much. Oh, last question: when people want to contact you, what's the best way?
Uh, well, anybody's welcome to contact me. Easiest way is, catch me on social media. I think I use Facebook and LinkedIn the most. Don't have anything to sell or give you guys. I just like sharing information. But if anybody loves to chat about business, I love talking about business. I feel like whenever I do, I either make a friend or learn something. So I'm always open to have conversations. And yeah, or you can always catch me at, especially if you're around Indiana, Indy Roof and Restoration. So you can go to the website or call us at the office.
Well, again, thank you so much for your time, Aaron, and for everybody listening. This is for me inspiration. It's about how to run a business as well, with heart and passion and determination, and being a good person, just as simple as that. So thank you so much, and thank you for all our listeners. I hope you got some ideas out of that. And remember, everything is possible. Never give up. Surround yourself by good people. If you need support, do that. And live your dream, because as Aaron said, we've got only one life and we owe it to ourselves to live it fully. Thank you, and see you at the next episode. Bye bye.